Get your lights there.
Afternoon, how you doing? We're phoning from Fowler Mansion today, and we're doing slippers. Okay, so how is everybody? Are we talking to air, or are they all popping up now?
Let's start popping up soon.
So I'm trying to think what we've got to tell you. The shop's open. We've seen some of you. We're looking forward to seeing some of the rest of you. It was busy yesterday. I didn't even have time for a cup of tea. I was lucky that Jackie came in, because otherwise I'd have expired of thirst. They just seem to, as one was leaving, another one's coming in, which is great, and it's just nice to be talking to people now instead of just like this. I do better talking to an actual person than talking to myself or Drew or Dave. So slippers. Now this is something I found a picture on Pinterest and bought the, where have I put it? And bought the pattern.
It's not this, is it? So?
This, and this is what it made. Okay. Now, apart from the fact that it was in American sizes and I made it too small, it's a boot, and it's just like the boots that the people that I used to nurse used to wear without the Velcro. So if anybody would like boots, I would imagine it'd be quite good in sheepskin or something for the winter, coming up your ankle, but they weren't quite what I was looking for. So, as all the best patterns, we adapted, and this is what I've come up with. So, it's the wrong foot. These are the slippers. Now you can change the back to come further up if that's what you want, but I just wanted them to sit like that. So that's what we're making today. One of these. Okay? Well, two of these. You're going to need two, aren't you? Because you have 2 feet. Okay, so there's a pattern. I'm still working on the template. You'd be surprised if I wasn't. And with this, you've got an outside and a lining. On the bottom, I've used this stuff, which is the stuff you buy in, I mean this one we bought in IKEA, to go underneath your sewing machines, to keep it from not moving with the vibrations. I've just put a layer of that in on the end, but I'll show you that now. You could put blobs of hot glue if you wanted to. The cozies that I made last time, I remember I had the little bits that went like that, and one of them had hot glue. Don't do the hot glue because it melts on your jacket potato. So this is better because it's silicone. Okay, so that's what you need, is a bit of silicone on the bottom. Okay, let's start. Save me wittering. I traced the pattern out onto interfacing. Okay, now you need to remember that when you've got your pattern, when you're doing it, you want two. This is the toe. Okay, you want two going that way, and then you want to reverse your pattern piece and do two going that way, so that you end up that they're opposite. Okay, otherwise you'll be going around in circles. With your foot piece, you would trace out the one, then invert it and trace out the other one. Okay, now rather than interface or cut them all out separate, what I've done is I drew out my interfacing and then ironed it onto my top fabric, which is this one, and then I've put it right sides together with my lining fabric. Now I'm using different fabrics so that you can see, but there's no reason why you couldn't use the same fabric throughout. For the foot piece, I've traced it out. Oh, that's not very good, is it? Look at that. Caught that with my ring. You trace out your feet pieces and then iron it onto your lining piece, and I've ironed that onto the front. It's a good job I'm not working on this one, isn't it? Iron it on the wrong side, not the right side, okay? And then I've layered it up with a bit of, just so that I'm cutting the pattern out together, I've layered it with a bit of wadding, which I want on the bottom, and also my calico. Now I've used calico because it's going on the floor, and I like calico, we all know that. So, it's a good job I'm not cutting that one out, isn't it? Okay, where are we? So I've gone ahead and cut out the one size. So you sew your two pieces, should cut out more, your two pieces, you're going to put them right sides together, and you're going to sew your 1/4 inch here, okay, on the side to put them together like this. And then you're going to do the same with your lining piece for both of them. Iron them out and then right sides together. Okay, you're going to put them right sides together and then you're going to sew. So we're going over here. So who we got with us, Drew?
We've got Jan, we've got Taryn, we've got Dave, we've got Linda Head and Linda Tomlinson, we've got Claire, Wendy, Eileen, Carrie, Suzanne, and Heather, Meg. Meg says your hair looks pretty.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I think I've forgotten.
Loads of people. Any questions so far? Have I explained it well enough so far?
Yeah, I think so. No?
So we just all I'm doing is sewing my 1/4 inch. Just checking it's still on the 1/4 inch down here. Now, eventually, I want to be able to give you a pattern that will have a higher heel or a lower heel, so that they're just mules. Is it mules? The ones without mules without the back, so that you just slip your foot in. I've got a dog under my feet. He's come with his toy. So this one now is sewn together on the curved side. So you're going to clip into the corners. Okay, clip into your corners, iron it out, and iron it. Finger roll. We explained the finger rolling on Saturday. So finger roll and press it. And then you're going to top stitch it. Okay, so that's what you would do, is finger roll, press, top stitch. And that way, with the top stitching, you end up with this. Okay, on the pattern piece, there's a place for you to put a notch. So you're going to take your two pieces, your two ends, which are now one piece. You're going to find your notches and you're going to line those up. Alright, so you're going to line your notch up there, and then you're just going to move it around. Now if your cutting out is as bad as mine, you could then trim all this so that it's all the same width. And what we're going to do, this will be the right foot, because the opening is on the inside. If you have a look at this, there's your openings, okay? And in order for you to know which one's which, because they're basically the same, you want them so that they're on the inside. So we're now going to baste around here, and then, or yeah, based around here, and then put a 2-inch line up there. Okay, so that's not really. See, your mother needs a chair like this.
I do need to get one.
Right.
My birthday's not far away. We'll probably get one.
That's true. A nice chair for Sarah. Right. So we're going to pop this under here. I'm going to start, because it's this way round, I'm going to up it to 3, which is my my preferred one. I'm going to put it back to the middle. This is where I get it all. Right, so I'm going to go up where I've top stitched. I'm going to try and get it so that it goes up there like that. Now we're going to be doing most of it at 1/4 inch seam, so you want to go under the 1/4 inch if you can. I'd probably trim this now, and you're just going to take it round to meet this bit here where it ends. Okay, you just need to base that. Okay, you don't need to put a lock stitch. Should have put a lock stitch up there, I think. But there we go. So it's all together. Okay, so let's go back to here. I'm going to trim this. I've got a new blade in this, it's lush. Okay, there we go. So we can see where the middle is here, because we've got a seam. I'm going to, you should be able to find the middle from the notches, which I've just cut off. So we're going to find the middle like this. Okay, like that. And I'm going to stick a pin in that. Stick a pin in it. There we go. Alright. So you're going to take your foot. Now they are slightly different. You're going to have these, and I've got them all attached. So you need to look at your foot. Now I think that's the right way. Look at that. I've done that on that side as well. Oh, what a twonk, eh? Right, so we're going to find the middle of your foot. I'm going to have to take this one apart afterwards. I've done it all back to front. Okay, so we're going to fit this into our shoe. So you're going to pin there. And you're going to pin your middle bit to your heel there. And then you're going to pin this all in. Now I'm going to go and get my... I didn't seem to have any pins, they're all in there. I'm going to get my trusty applique pins, which if you were there on Saturday you would have seen they're one of my go-to favourites. And we're pinning all this in. Now I've only interfaced the top layer. I didn't interface my lining, and I've interfaced the bit that your foot goes on, that lining bit. I'm going to put but you could interface both of them, and I'm going to put in some padding just so that it's nice to walk on. Now I've thought of these mainly for you ladies that come to class and like to take your shoes off when you come to class and walk around in your stockinged feet. It'll be a lot better for you to have these when the winter comes in. So, any questions?
Linda here says, I've lost connection. We'll have to watch again later.
Oh. It's not us, is it?
I don't think so. Christine says, sorry I'm late. I've just ordered a new sewing machine.
Oh, nice. Which one? I expect them to answer there and then.
Yeah.
Sorry. This is why I like people. I like to talk to people. So, this afternoon I am going to be doing the isolation labels for Linda and Heather. So if anybody wants any, just let us know. It's not fitting in. Let us know, and I can do those for you as well. If you put in the comments what colour you'd like it and whether you want your name on it. Now we can, if it's not fitting like this, I mean, you can fiddle around with it, but if you clip into it, where's my scissors now? If you clip into your curve like this, just very gently. Remember that you're gonna be doing you're sewing into it, so you want to be able to, you don't want to in your seam allowance so much. So what you're going to do is just pin in your tucks. Okay.
Claire, can you please explain the isolation labels are?
Right, if you go on the website, you'll find a thing. We've been embroidering a label. It just says Isolation 2020, and we can put your name on there as well. There is options for other labels where you can put whatever you like onto it. You just have to put in the comments what you want and what colour you want it in. And we'll do you a label. If it just is Isolation 2020 in a frame with your name, it's £7. Any more than that is £9. Okay, but we can do it so that it'll go on the back of your isolation quilt, so that in years to come, if you've gifted it, they'll know that it was done in 2020 and you did it. They do say that you should name and label all of your quilts, whatever quilt you do. I always forget to do mine. I do labels for everybody else and then I forget to do mine. So, right, we've got that in there. Alright, we've just sort of fitted it in there. So I'm going to, with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so we'll go back to that. Now I'm using the 1/4 inch thing on my machine, setting on my machine, because I think the 1/4 inch foot might get in the way. And you're going to sew all the way round, right the way round.
Carrie asked, do I need to order on the website or message you?
Order on the website, please. I mean, you can message me as well, but if you order on the website, we can pick those up then. I haven't got one to show you because I think it's at the shop. So we're going all the way round. You're just pretty much basting it on. So if it's not quite 1/4 inch, that's all well and good. Because when we sew the other bit on, you're going to try and come inside of this line.
I know Mum showed the sample, didn't she? On
Yes.
one of the 1 o'clocks.
Yeah, the sample I did with Sarah's name on it.
I don't know which video that was, but...
Oh, it would have been last week sometime. Wednesday last week with the isolation quilt bit. So we're nearly there, kids. Now, if I was doing this without you lot, I would probably take a little bit more time. So make sure you finish your stitch off. And we're going to take all the pins out. Okay. So this is what takes the longest. Pins in and out. Right. So you see we've sewn all the way around there. And we have the beginnings of a shoe. It's cool, isn't it? I get delighted with it every time. Right, we're going to spray based. I'm going to take our sole. Our sole. We're going to. Oh, that's not very good, is it? I'm going to regret that later. Oh, and I've done it onto the. This is what you're not supposed to do. Don't put it on the fabric. Put it on the wadding. This is this is how I craft. You should see me making jewellery. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. Oh, well, let's try something else. So we're going to. Is there enough of that? Yes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a few lines through. Now there's two sides to this meshing. There's a smoother side and a more lumpy side. So I would say this is the right side and the smooth side is the wrong side. So I've done it wrong side to right side. Okay, so this will be the inside, this is the outside. Now I'm just going to put a couple of lines through that to make sure that it stays. It's not going to flop around when it's on your foot. I've got to remember which way I did it. I think I did it that way.
Jan says do as I say, not as I do.
Oh yes, definitely. I'm very much a faffer. Right, I think I found. No, I think it was the other way. I found one way better than the other. Let's have a look. One way fed through better than the other. There we are. So do it so that your silicone is against your dog teeth. That's right. I get halfway through and I think, what am I doing? It's a bit like my conversations. Now you're just doing it in the middle. You want to just hold it where you're in place. All right. You could make a design of it if you wanted. Now, we are going to now put this together. Okay. Now again, I should have put notches all the way around, and I didn't. Okay. Any other questions?
As Lisa Fowler said, Maverick Sewer is what I call myself.
A Maverick sewer. Oh yes.
Sewer, sorry.
Yeah. Right. So we're going to now put these right sides together. So you're going to put the bottom of your shoe onto the top of your shoe. Okay, and you're going to just work that round and again pin it. I'm going to have to use bigger pins because I've got more things to go through. So you want to make sure that everything is tucked. Okay. So as you're going round, you want to make sure that your ridge on the outside goes in. Now over time this will soften up. Seems to be a lot bigger, doesn't it? So I would, if you stretch it out it's fine. Okay. We just pin it down. All the way round. So anybody else got anything to say? What they got plans? What they sewing on?
Not yet. Oh, so Marilyn asked, sorry, late on, what's the silicone for?
The silicone is to stop you slipping on the floor. If you've seen most slippers have got like a rubber bottom or some sort of, you get slipper socks, don't you, which have got like a silicone edge. The dog wants Drew to play with him. He's just so excited that there's somebody here. Okay, that's a rough putting together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sew around. Now I've pinned on the, I'm going to change pins so that I can see them as I'm going round, because I'm going to try and follow the line that I've got. Like I say, I would probably fiddle with this a bit more if I wasn't worried about time restraints, and make it fit in. I think cutting as well is a good is a good thing. I cut with a rotary cutter, and sometimes it's not quite, well, it's more accurate than, I think it's more accurate than scissors. Do you use a rotary cutter or scissors to cut? I find I cut most things out now with a rotary cutter. I'm getting a dab hander going round curves. Right, so I'm gonna, you see my sewing line on the bottom there? I'm going to just sew just inside of that one, okay, all the way round. We're going to use that as the guide-ish. Right, I'm taking my stitch length to a 3, like we did for, because there's just so many layers it's got to go through. You need to leave a gap of at least 2 inches to get it through. So we're going to go round. So has anybody said what they've got going on today?
Yes, actually generally uses a rotary cutter.
Good. I think it's something that you need to practice at, rotary cutting. We get a lot of practice in the shop, surprisingly, at cutting the fabric. I'm pulling some of the pins out because they're the wrong way round, or in the way. I broke a needle the other day, so it makes me a little bit more cautious at the moment. So I'm just following that line round. Yeah. So I started there, so I'm going to come to this pin here. Yeah. And go back. Okay, so my other tool of choice that we were talking about is my trusty prodder. Chopsticks would do.
Looks like a Harry Potter one.
Does, doesn't it?
Mm.
I should. Okay, so see the silicone what we're going to do is we're going to cut round here. I'm just roughly cutting all the bulk. There's some bulky bits. Okay, and there's quite a lot there, so I'm going to cut round. Like I say, I would do this a lot better. Right, I'm going to cut into some of the curves. Because they will sit better. Okay. Right, where's my gap? So now you're just pulling it through. Any other questions?
Natalie says gonna play hunt the wadding. It's strange that what can disappear in a small sewing room.
I've got a box. I've got one of the IKEA boxes with a lid, and I put all my waddings in that. And then when I'm doing a project like the bowl cozies, I pull them out and Frankenstein all the little bits. However, I don't tend to keep as much as I should really. I've started keeping more. I mean, Natasha, when I was on her chanda, Natasha said, well, would you keep that wadding? And it was quite a big piece because the June Taylor wadding pieces have, they're quite, the bits that you cut off are quite large. So I've started keeping those because a lot of my projects have got little pieces to it. So right, I'm now just finger rolling and just easing it all into the seam. Okay, so just ease it out, and then this gap here you will turn under like that and ladder stitch it. So you want to leave as small amount as you can for turning out. And there we have a right foot. How's that? That's quite cool. Too small for me, but I'm going to have to recut that because this one's back to front. So that's it. That's slippers. I will work on the pattern this afternoon to make sure that it's on, and I just remembered I still haven't put the bowl cozy onto the website, so I will put that on in case any of you are interested. So that's me for today. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing next week. I suppose I'm going to have to start thinking about it because Sean will be asking soon. Maybe we might do cleaning of a machine, and we'll go through that. Maybe that's what we do next week. Okay, and you can see how I fluff my way through that.
Yeah. Is that everything, sir?
Yeah. Is there no questions before we go?
Marion says starting using my sewing message sent to too soon. Getting used to my new split screen keyboard. I don't know what that means.
Nope.
No.
I will have a look afterwards.
Jan says absolutely, thank you. Sheena says thank you. I will look out for the pattern.
Cool.
But yeah, that's it.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, and I'll see you in the shop soon. Bye.